That is how you get a field. Add as a field, and then start scraping when you see this, stop scraping when you see that. What you have in the middle is your field. Okay, that way you hit one button and brrr, you get all the links off the entire page. Then the second thing you might want to scrape maybe is the city, and you'll say that's another field. Okay, and it'll scrape all of them. That's basically all this is. It's got a couple of junk files too, to make it to see, because it kind of has to go through the junk to get to the stuff you want. Simple. It's just saying scrape something that I'm simply not going to use. You just called it junk because I'm not going to use it. But anyway, just showing you an example. There you go. There's my junk field. There's some particular things I told it I also wanted it to grab, like the parent order on the page, the order on the page. Meta source URI is really just the original link where I got it from. Well, in this case, it's my local copy on my page, but I could have gotten this right off of the front and back page, and then I'd see back page here for the URL. And sure enough, here's my link. Double click on that. There's all the links, and there's all the places. And this looks like something you'd see in Excel or SQL. And that's exactly where I'm going to send it. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to grab this information. Different copies for a reason. But for example, I can do it. I can set exactly where I want this information to go. I want it to go to SQL, or I want it to go to Excel, or I want it to go to Access, or somewhere else. And if it goes to SQL, that's what I'm going to call that database. I just give it a name of my own choosing. Then I give it a table name of my own choosing, right? So I can put several things in that database with different table names. Okay, like one table name is the geography. The other table name, you know, is going to be for the place, that kind of thing. So I can do that, lay it all out. Okay, now that's not so hard. Metadata, this is where I just check mark the things I want it to also get. That's why you saw it. Parent order on page, source location. I didn't know how to program that stuff in to get those fields. I just check marked this stuff. Okay. Data set nesting. That's just where you say get this before you get that, or before you get that. You know, this is dependent on that, that kind of thing. You just sort of click away to isolate an order of where each of these things go, what they're dependent on. You don't need to do it most of the time. You just put them in order. You scrape from the top down. Okay, so learning basic HTML coding, we're going to spend like half an hour on that. Then we're going to spend like an hour max on the data pages, learning exactly how this goes. Once you build a data page for something, you can automate it. All similar pages, and you can put it in a package, and you can tell the package, go to all the pages just like that, and grab out exactly what I'm looking for. And that's nuts. Okay, and so then you have something like your blitz, you know, that uses a different data page. Let me just kind of show you. So if I go to I just gave it a name. Okay, in order to get the BP blitz to light up, it's just BP blitz and then that, and then the name of the actual package. Okay, I put in anything I want for a description. Steps. I got little steps in here where it's going to do different things. Guess what? Each of these steps is based on something like a certain data page. Select the data page. You select it. It's the BP Blitz one from the data pages. And if I want, I can have it clear the previous results. So it always gets rid of the old entries from SQL before it puts in the new one, or not. You know, and then it keeps adding more, or it overwrites the old stuff. We got our file list here, where I give it the little SQL commands. Does stuff look hard? It's not. Do I know how most of this works? By now I've gotten used to it, but really I didn't need to memorize this stuff. I just need to know where to find it. This is pretty simple. It basically says select all the distinct or unique links from this particular place, this particular table. Okay, this whatever database dot, database object dot, the table name that I gave it, where it has this character index in it, or at least where that does not equal 0, and where another character index does not equal 0. Sounds weird when I try to explain it real fast, but in 1 hour of going through some basic SQL stuff, you'll get every little piece of this perfectly. All I had for this replace, I replace wherever it finds in the link database, wherever it finds that word disclaimer question mark, I'm replacing it with a results question mark. Turned out I needed that for the adult section, because if you try to go to the adult section of the BP of Backpage, it says hey, are you over 18? And you have to hit yes or no to get onto the real pages. But you know what the real page was? It was the same link where it just got rid of the word disclaimer and put the word results in there. So that's funny. So just in every case where it's scraping and grabbing those links that said disclaimer, it's just going to override it with results. And therefore it goes right to the pages. Now again, it sounds weirdly complex when I try to explain it fast, but it won't in the training and on the forums. And that's why we have forums. You can ask questions, get answers, and you can build the most incredible stuff. And you can trade it, you can sell it, and yeah, I mean, you can build a package like this and you can sell for 20 grand. And that brings me back to this point. I decided not to sell it. I'm gonna monetize on that. What does that mean? That means I am going to be very pragmatic in teaching you how to use Web Scraper Plus and Web Macros. And they both, believe me, you want both. Because there are things the one can do, the other cannot do. You're going to use them in different combinations to pull off different things that you could never do with just one alone. They work together well, in harmony, and it's incredible what they can pull off. My point. I am going to teach you how I built this thing. We're going to get there. Everything I'm going to teach is going to be useful. I'm going to teach you how to build stuff for YouTube. We're going to start with small stuff, but I'm going to teach you how I built the Backpage package, one data page at a time, one package step at a time. I'm going to teach you how to use the batch files, and I'm going to teach you how to put the batch files on Windows Scheduler. Now, batch files is just where you create that little gear-shaped file that most of you guys know already. If you got my Backpage package, you had to press on the batch file to get it to run and open up the black command prompt screen and all that stuff. All it is, all a batch file is, if you haven't figured it out yet, it's a notepad text file, rename, I'm going to call it run.bat, okay? Oh, it's still thinking it's supposed to be a text file. Save as. Save on the desktop, but not as a text file. I'm going to save it as an actual bat file, .bat. Whoops. Just like that. I'm going to save it. Okay, and there it is. So let me get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. But here's a batch file. See the little gearing? It's a button to press. Well, it doesn't have anything in it now, but look at this. Watch this. Let me start the calculator. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Let me run it. There's a calculator. Wow. Bet you didn't know you could do that, or maybe you did. Let's start something else too. More than one thing at a time. In order. It goes in order, top down. So you can rearrange the order and everything else. Watch this. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Let's think about the power here of being able to just automate stuff, right? Well, what's another thing I could do? I could have it go to a web page. I could have it go to start http://mojigoo.com, and I could even have it open a particular file. Like, let's say I created a new Excel file, call it run.xlsx, and I opened the thing and I put something in there, quick brown fox jumped over whatever it is. Want to see something wild? Watch this. Start excel.exe space, and we're gonna open something with it. xlsx. Run.xlsx. Run.xlsx. Save it. Watch this. Boom. It opened Mojigoo. Let me minimize. It opened Excel and that particular file. Now that's kind of funny. What if you create full files and then you have the output show up on the desktop or whatever, or get created? Because you can do that too. You can create, you can move, you can copy. If you go on Google, and do that now actually. By the way, you cannot get in here. You won't be able to register and get in unless you own Web Macros and Web Scraper Plus. There's no reason to be here unless you have the software. Think of this as a big micro university course where you're getting the tools you need, and you're going to be able to create anything you want. And this will go on and on and on. I'm not selling you one package here or a piece of software that can fade out in a short while. I've been using Web Scraper Plus and Web Macro since 2005 for just incredibly different uses. I created a portfolio arbitrage scraper, one that it scraped values from a portfolio, compared it to real values, and showed people what to buy or sell ahead of schedule.